Senate dropped new law against military action on the civilians. Expose Wike. All right. You see that the action Nyesom Wike took has attracted the attention of the Senate. Not just the Senate, but also international bodies. According to information, that very action, which just took place in just few minutes, has attracted global attention. The world is now aware of that error. You can see the big disgrace Nyesom Wike has brought to the government of Bola Tinubu, and that is why that very prediction that Tinubu is going to sack him is now at 99.9%. I will be taking you into the Senate because a bill has been passed with that immediate effect. Hey, my people, I want you people to follow me into this very video because the story really makes sense. Let's go in. Don't blink an eye. Let's just go in now.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, this bill was read for the first time on this floor on Wednesday, 15th of May, 2025. The armed forces of Nigeria remain the cornerstone of our sovereignty and national security. They have stood gallantly in defense of our nation, from combating insurgency and terrorism to peacekeeping across Africa. However, the existing Armed Forces Act, rooted in a 1960s military decree and last consolidated in 2004, no longer meets today's realities. The constitutional, operational, and global defense environment has evolved, but our military law has not kept pace. Constitutional alignment and human rights. The bill upholds the supremacy of the Constitution and integrates fair hearing and due process into military justice. It corrects such provision as Section 173, ensuring that administrative reports like boards of inquiry no longer serve as convictions without trial. 2. Child protection and international obligations. It prohibits enlistment of persons below 18 years, aligning Nigeria with the Child Rights Act and international humanitarian standards. 3. Clear chain of command. It enforces the President's constitutional authority as Commander-in-Chief while vesting day-to-day operational command in the Chief of Defense Staff, eliminating ambiguities and strengthening civilian oversight. 4. Modernized military justice. The bill redefines offenses, ensures proportionate punishment, and criminalizes undue command interference in court martial, guaranteeing independence and fairness within the system. 5. Legal empowerment and institutional efficiency. Qualified military lawyers will now be able to represent the armed forces in civil courts, reducing legal costs and delays. A dedicated litigation fund will support this. 6. Economic realism and morale. Outdated fines like 200 naira or 500 naira are replaced with percentage-based penalties tied to salary levels. The bill also extends protections and rights to non-commissioned officers to boost morale and fairness. Many democracies, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, including the United States, United Kingdom, and South Africa, have modernized their military laws to ensure justice, accountability, and professionalism. Nigeria cannot afford to lag behind. This bill therefore places our military legal system in step with global best practices and strengthens our reputation in international peacekeeping and defense cooperation. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, the Armed Forces Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025 is not just a legal update. It is a statement of our national commitment to a disciplined, professional, and accountable military. It guarantees justice within the ranks, enhances command efficiency, and aligns our armed forces with constitutional and international standards. I respectfully urge my distinguished colleagues to support this bill for second reading as we collectively strengthen one of Nigeria's most vital institutions. Mr. President, I so move.
Senator Mohamed Ali Ndume, representing Borno South. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to second the lead debate as presented by the chairman, Ami. And the presentation, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, has aptly captured the reason and the background behind this repeal and reenactment bill on the Armed Forces Act Cap A20. As he said, Mr. President, it's a long time and there is a need to, as we evolve in our democracy, we also align all other laws, especially the armed forces, to be in line with modern democracy, rule of law. This is what this bill is trying to do, to update the laws, subject the armed forces to civil rule, and also improve on human rights, protection, and others, and efficiency. So I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this very important bill.
I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, what this bill essentially seeks to do or achieve, or the lacuna that it seeks to cure, is that one, it desires to bring our military laws not only in tandem with international best practice, but to bring it in consonance with universally acceptable democratic principles. One of peer hearing. For example, what this bill seeks to achieve is that reports of boards of inquiry set off by military authorities should not serve as a basis for conviction, but rather it should be subjected to a trial by a court of law before such conviction shall be upheld. Because as it is, it violates the principles of nemo judice in causa sua. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. So this is a very fundamental principle of law, that this what this bill seeks to achieve. And then the other arm is the enlistment of persons below the age of 18, which is now allowed under the military law as it is now. This bill seeks to clearly state that people that are below the age of 18 cannot be enlisted into the armed forces. And then this bill also seeks to subject military authorities to the command of the commander-in-chief, that is democratically elected president, or in a nutshell, subjects military authorities to the authority of democratically elected institutions, so that they cannot be masters of themselves. So essentially, this bill is very, very important, and I urge my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill with the spirit of light. Thank you.
Senator, President, and distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, I would just like to deviate a little bit in asking the chairman of AMI, in amending this law, in supporting this debate, I would like him to look into the courses, the military courses. Because once somebody, for example, that the new chief of army staff is course 41, all the people in course 40, 39, 40, they are gone. And we spend a lot of money training these military people. I want, in amending this law, I want them to bring at any time the commander-in-chief wants to appoint a chief of army staff, chief of naval staff, he should go by their courses. This was caused also by last administration where they left one man to be chief and we lost about 6 courses on the stretch. So in repealing and re-enacting this bill, I would like the committee to look into these courses. Like they just appointed the chief of naval staff, chief of air staff, and chief of army is course 41. All the people in the navy, in the army, and in the air force, they are gone. And we have spent a lot of money training these generals. This is Nigerian people's money. So we must maintain that if we want to appoint course 40, every course should be entitled to be chief of army staff, or chief of air staff, or chief of defense staff. If you do not go down to take somebody and making about 200-300 generals are retiring for nothing's sake, they all have 7-8 years to stay in the thing. So Mr. President, I would like to appeal seriously that this will be amended also, so that Nigerian army will be one army, will be one people, will be one voice, will be one cause in NDA as they do it. I rest my case.
Now they hear the new law. All these things that because of that same error committed by Nyesom Wike. Anyway, and indirectly they are also speaking to that is Akpabio. Yes, if you listen to that very bill, that very section of the bill that said so that you cannot be the judge of your own cause. Directly, that very bill is speaking to Akpabio himself. If you pay attention properly, yes, Akpabio many times he has been the judge of his own. He has been the judge of his own case. Exactly. So, my dear listeners, I will say that this is a very, very welcoming, talk and bill, and I will say that the Senate should also give it a proper check, because people like Nyesom Wike really need to be disposed and exposed, and replaced. Yes, which I believe that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to do with the speed of light. So please, let's begin to share this video. Let's others have a copy and duplicate of this and see the shame Nyesom Wike has brought to Nigeria. Thank you.